All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to tear apart one of the most famous paragraphs in all of English literature, the very beginning of Charles Dickens's Bleak House. We're going to deconstruct it piece by piece and figure out how exactly it works its magic.
It all kicks off with this: fog everywhere. That's it, just 2 words. But wow, they feel huge, don't they? It's like an entire world just popped into existence in that single phrase.
So that's the big question, isn't it? How can 2 simple words feel so immense? It's not just about what they mean, it's about what they do. The atmosphere is just thick. You can almost feel it. So what's his secret? How did Dickens pull this off?
Well, here's the thing. The secret isn't just in the words he chose. Nope, it's the grammar. The real genius, the real magic, is hiding in plain sight, right in the structure of the sentences themselves. And today, we're going to play detective and uncover the 5 big grammatical clues that show us exactly how he built this thing.
Okay, let's jump into clue number 1. And this one's fascinating because it's not about what Dickens tells us, it's about what he deliberately leaves out. I mean, think about it for a second. If I ask you to describe fog, what kind of words would you reach for? You'd probably say something like a thick, gray, choking fog, right? We expect adjectives. But Dickens, he gives us absolutely none of that. By stripping it all away, he makes the fog feel so stark and total. It's not some kind of fog, it's just fog, period. An undefined, overwhelming force.
And here's why that's so brilliant. He describes everything else in super vivid detail. The little islands, the 8s, are green. The city is great and dirty. So you have all this specific detail, and then just fog. That contrast makes it so clear that this was a choice. The fog becomes this blank, personality-less force that's just swallowing up a very specific, very detailed world.
All right, on to clue number 2. And this one tackles a common myth you sometimes hear about this passage, that it has no verbs at all. Now, that's not quite right. It does have verbs, but what Dickens does with them is, well, it's just incredibly clever. Take a look at this phrase. We definitely have a verb here, creeping. So there's action, something is happening. But there's a crucial piece of the puzzle missing, the little bit of grammar that would tell us when this is all going down.
You see the problem? Is it creeping right now, or was it creeping back then? We have no idea. Dickens just yanks out the helping verbs, words like is or was, that give an action a tense. And without them, the fog's actions feel timeless, eternal even. It's not just happening in a moment. It feels like it's always been creeping and it always will be.
Okay, clue number 3 is a wild one. This isn't about the words themselves, but the actual shape of the sentences. It's like Dickens is a sculptor, and he's making the grammar itself look and feel just like the fog. He uses this cool technique. It's called trailing constituents, which is really just a fancy way of saying he piles up a ton of details about place at the end of his sentences. The result? The sentences literally stretch out and sprawl across the page, just like fog rolling across the land. I mean, just listen to this. The core idea is simple, but the sentence just keeps going. It's sprawling, adding more and more information about location. You get this feeling of something that's just expanding and overwhelming you, which is exactly what the fog is doing. And this is where it gets really smart. This whole sprawling structure creates confusion, on purpose. When he says, where it rolls defiled, what's it? The fog? The river? Honestly, it could be either one. The language itself becomes blurry, which is the perfect way to make us feel the visual blurring of the fog covering everything.
So this idea of blurring boundaries leads us perfectly into our 4th clue. Because as the passage goes on, you'll notice the focus starts to zoom in. It gets tighter and tighter. And as it does, the fog itself, it starts to get a personality.
Just watch how he does this. It's like a camera zoom. We start with a super wide shot. Fog is everywhere. Then we zoom in on the ships. Then a little closer on the people on those ships. And then, bam! We're in extreme close-up, right down to the toes and fingers of one poor apprentice boy. Now this is the key. As that focus gets tighter, the verbs totally change. At first, the fog is just passive. It's lying around, hovering, drooping. But the second it gets personal, the second we zoom in on that boy, it suddenly gets active, it gets aggressive. Now the fog is pinching. And then he drops the hammer.
For the first and only time, he gives the fog's action an adverb, cruelly. That's it. That's the moment the fog stops being weather and becomes a villain. It goes from a passive condition to this mean, spiteful thing that's hurting someone on purpose.
Okay, that brings us to our final clue, the big twist. For 5 sentences, Dickens has been building this powerful, almost hypnotic rhythm. He gets us locked into a pattern, and then he shatters it.
The pattern is so simple, but it's relentless. The subject of almost every clause is fog. Fog up the river. Fog on the marshes. Fog creeping. Fog in the eyes. It's like a chant. It just kind of lulls you into this foggy trance.
And then the final sentence hits. Chance people on the bridges peeping. Whoa, hold on. The subject isn't fog anymore. It's people. It's such an abrupt shift that it totally breaks the spell. It yanks us out of the fog's point of view and slams us back into the human world, reminding us they're people trapped in this mess.
And this really drives it all home. Just look at what happens when you try to write this normally. If you add a bunch of adjectives, like thick, choking, and a clear verb like was sweeping in and put it in a normal sentence, poof, everything vanishes. All the mystery, that timeless feeling, the sense of dread, it just evaporates. It becomes, well, kind of boring.
So there it is. It wasn't just one simple trick. It was a combination of everything. He used an undefined noun to make the fog feel absolute. He used timeless verbs to make it feel eternal. He made his sentences sprawl to mirror the fog's own movement. He gave it a cruel personality with menacing verbs, and then he broke his own pattern to shock us. It's pure grammar, wielded like a weapon to create one of the most powerful scenes ever written.
It really makes you stop and think, right? It just goes to show you that the how of writing, the structure, the grammar, is every bit as powerful as the what. So the next time you're reading something, anything, try to look under the hood a little. Ask yourself, what's the grammar actually doing here? You might be surprised by the secrets you find hiding in plain sight.